Hello, everyone.
Did you really just go live now?
You said. And I said you got 11 seconds to figure your crap out.
That is not. I don't think that's at all how you put it. I don't think.
There was more cursing.
I'm not even into Goodman Games chat yet. I'm still watching a Samsung commercial.
That's a you problem.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, we're back for another week of Prep or Die. We do this every 2 weeks here on the Goodman Games channel. I am DM Jeremy. I am half of the Old Men Rolling Dice podcast. My co-host. No, I always. You know what? Can I let me? No, we're gonna straighten this out right now.
Okay.
So the Old Men Rolling Dice podcast started with just me and my friend Jason. It started that way, and then we branched out into Twitch and YouTube. But Jason is a bit timid about having his face on camera, so I had to find a partner in crime, and Aphi was that partner. And she's awesome, and she's in just about everything I do here, whether it be Twitch or YouTube. But then when I think podcast, I still don't have my head around that we're like, when I say Old Men Rolling Dice, I'm just thinking the podcast, and that's why I miss you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you better.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. Whatever.
I apologize more to you than I do my own wife.
Well, that's because I'm more demanding.
I'm just saying. So, without further ado, my lovely co-host from the Voctaire, maybe
and
you've
Old
heard
Men
of
Rolling
their
Dice,
and Old Men Rolling Dice. See, I still didn't even get it right.
I'm DM Aphi.
Introduce yourself.
Here, and I basically jump on anything Jeremy lets me know about.
Language, careful. Okay.
I said jump on.
Yep, I know. Okay, well, we're here, and the Voctaire, please. We don't give you a chance to plug enough. The Voctaire is doing what in October?
So the Voctaire is, just to start off, is a safe, welcoming, inclusive community for podcasters, artists, tabletoppers, gamers. And for the month of October, we are running a Spooktober for Extra Life. The donations are open now, but for October, we're running 26 live plays on Twitch with 10 DMs, and it's all going to end up on November 5th with me running a 12-hour dungeon crawl for Extra Life Day. So,
which is awesome.
It's going to be awesome. Come on out and watch it. You can check out our Instagram for the schedule. And yeah.
I like that role-playing games can be used to fundraise.
Me too.
On a side note. Okay, let's talk about our guests.
Nah.
Are we starting at the top or the bottom?
We can start at the top or the bottom. I don't know. Pick one.
Let's start at the top. We have
What about
Richard
the middle?
Witters. Okay, well, fine.
Okay, we'll
Richard.
start in the middle.
You're gonna have to wait now.
I'm at
Stuart
the
Robertson.
bottom. I'm at the bottom on my screen.
Stuart,
you at
who
the
the heck
bottom?
are you?
Stuart.
I am Jeremy's friend from a long time
Many
back.
moons.
We started playing Dungeons and Dragons together when I think we were 9 or 10 years old.
Mhm.
And
Little wee babies.
yeah,
I think we were
back-
10. I think we were 10.
Yeah, I think it was either right before, or right after, because our birthdays are later in the year, so I think it was around our birthday times. It was in that summer, and my goth heavy
the
metal
best.
babysitter
Yes.
introduced me to the game, and she knew I liked Choose Your Own Adventures, and she described it as like a Choose Your Own Adventure, but you can choose to do anything. And so she introduced me to Dungeons and Dragons and Alice Cooper, and very pleased to learn about both of
Excellent
those
mix.
things that summer. And Jeremy was my best friend at the time, still a very good friend, and we started gaming, and we played a lot of games over the years. We started, I think we played this game. I think we played
Yes.
Marvel
Yes, we did play
Superheroes.
Marvel.
We played
We did play
Dungeons
Marvel.
and Dragons, and all sorts of things.
Robotech. I think we maybe played a little bit of Robotech together.
Yeah, we got Robotech there.
So this is what I love about our origin story, because it's like it overlaps. One, you and I were introduced to the game by a girl.
Oh yeah.
Because...
Which I didn't think was weird at the time, because
No, I didn't either.
You know, there was
People-
girls at school who were running games, right?
Not at my high school.
At mine there was. Jenny ran D&D, and you know, there was other girls that were involved. It was never like a one-to-one. I think there's more girls probably playing
This is
today.
my experience with D&D and girls. I'm going to give a little bit of a spoiler here. So in
Stranger Things.
in Stranger Things, Dustin gives a T-shirt to Max, and he's like, if you come out, like, you get a T-shirt. She's like, yeah, did you make this T-shirt yourself? Yeah, I did make it. Like, we did make the T-shirt ourselves. And you get really excited about the game, and then halfway through the conversation, you realize you are being trolled.
See, I think there were
my
girls like
experience
that,
with
but there was
girls
also
in
girls.
role-playing games.
Yeah, there was also girls like Erica, though, who were like way into it, and they
Was
they
Erica
were,
the babysitter's name?
no, my Wendy was the babysitter. So
Okay.
Erica was the girl on Stranger Things. She's Lucas's
true.
little
Yes,
sister.
yes,
right?
yes.
And she's
Okay, well, I
she's
never met
way
her when
into
I was a
it.
kid.
Yeah,
Anyways, but
Yeah.
now I'm happy to play with. I actually play with more girls online, like in the streams and everything. We have probably balance, if not a little weighted toward. Like, I'm always playing with Artemis and Aphi, so it's it's good. It's a good thing.
We have a
I
really
love
good
it.
mix of women and non-binary.
But when I was a
people,
kid,
so.
people were like, "Girls don't play this game," and I'm like, "I'm pretty sure they do, because one introduced me to the game." So
That's
that's one of the things I love about that game, and I tend to drone on here. But the other thing I like that our introduction was, we got our books from the library. Do you remember that? We went to the
Ooh.
library and found the Moldvay book,
That's
and
right.
I think it was 3-hole punched.
Yeah, it is 3-hole punch. I have a copy here. It's
beautiful.
The basic
It's
and
beautiful.
expert rules are 3-hole punch. You put them in a binder along with all your 3-hole punch graph paper. And
Well, there you go. There you go. And now you're here on Prep or Die with me, completing the circle. I don't know what the circle is of, but we've completed the circle. We've come full circle.
completing
there
the
we go.
circle is after this. We go to an Alice Cooper concert.
Oh yes, I would love to do that.
I was just there this
So good
spring.
live.
Okay, that's a
Oh,
good segue.
So good.
Tara, Jazzy, tell us about Alice Cooper.
Oh my gosh. So
Was
good.
it face melting?
Yeah.
Face melting.
So
Absolutely.
good. So good.
$1 million
live.
baby busting through the walls and still doing the guillotine bit and everything.
I think
So
Aphi may
good.
be a bit of a goth girl.
You think?
You think?
What gave you that idea?
Look, not just because you're wearing a Darth Vader shirt does not make you a goth girl.
Black nails, lots of rings. The fact that I've said I'm a goth girl.
Jazzy,
several times.
Jazzy, you know what? Do me a favor. For Christmas, cosplay as a nutcracker. Because you're busting mine all the time.
It was like right there. I'm like, how can I twist this? But
Holy
you already
cow.
got it.
Oh, ooh.
Okay, we're going to talk about Jazzy now. Jazzy's on the Knights of Roleplay podcast.
I am. I am a cast member on the Knights of Roleplay. I also
just
guest DM from time
You
to
did.
time.
I saw the pictures.
Yes. It's actually don't have a release date yet, but I just finished a 6-episode run of a couple of books of the Candlekeep Mysteries. Very
Did you like
excited.
that book?
I am loving the stories within that book.
I feel
They're
the same.
they're pretty awesome because they're all like standalone adventures that you can like incorporate into other stories or play them alone or just
Not all of them, but some of
use
them are
them
very
as
one-shottable too,
little
aren't they?
tidbits. Yes, very much so. I actually picked 2 different books from within the 14 stories that are in it, and the first one I kind of ran as it was written. The second one I kind of rolled with it and customized, and they're really awesome. They're really fun, and I really love that they're all written by different people, and they were edited and kind of compiled, and it's a really great book.
Yeah.
Go check it
I
out.
like it. I like it. I like it.
Really
And,
cool.
and did you like DMing?
I love DMing. So I had the pleasure of doing some little one-shots and like battle royales just to get my feet wet, but actually sitting down and really pulling characters through an actual and with that second customized adventures, really I did some customized monsters for them and actually built some maps and everything. It was just like I got bit by the bug.
And
So-
for anyone interested in Spelljammer, Knights of Roleplay were doing Spelljammer before, like that podcast has been going for a couple years now, has it not?
It was 2 years and 8 months.
And it's been a
that
Spelljammer
campaign was
campaign from the beginning.
Yep. Our primary DM actually took the old Spelljammer books and customized it to fit with 5th edition rules.
Yes.
And it was about 2 months before our campaign ended that the Spelljammer 5th edition was announced.
Of course.
And we finished the week before it came out.
Yeah, I actually
Timing.
Chris and I had a chat, and I'm like, there you go. You did all the work, and now, someone else has done the work for you.
Yep.
like, there you go.
But
Enjoy.
it was an amazing adventure. We had so much fun. Probably my favorite character I've ever played was in that campaign. She was a wild
awesome.
magic sorceress and Kalashtar race. So that was pretty fun. And
We found Chris because of Spelljammer. Like, we were searching old school settings and found Chris, and then Chris has been the last time I think you were on the show. It was Chris, his wife, whose name is escaping me right now. What?
Kate.
Kate and yourself. So yeah, welcome back.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
And last but not, you can hear my dogs. Last but not least, we have Richard Witters, who
Hello.
you might know from things like Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast, and now you're where?
Now I'm working at Larian Studios in
Nice.
Quebec City. So I'm art directing there.
Is Quebec as scary as everyone in Ontario believes it to be?
No.
No?
Everyone here is very nice.
Sounds
If
good. Roll a
you're like,
deception
what
check.
is Ontario and what is Quebec? It's a Canadian thing. They're provinces, and yeah, and Quebec is, you can say it like Quebec, you can say Quebec, Quebec, yeah, but
Yeah.
the biggest French-speaking province in all of Canada.
Yes.
and kind of ostracized for it.
And my French is not great,
To be
Yes.
fair, they ostracize themselves.
but everyone is very nice.
Hey now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ish.
Do you like it? You're Canadian originally, correct?
Yes.
And
yeah,
you
I'm
like
from New Brunswick.
being back home?
I do actually.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're,
it's nice
we're glad to
be...
have you back.
Yeah.
Like a bragging,
well,
you're like a bragging point. So if people don't know, what was, could you maybe mention some of the projects that you worked on at Wizards of the Coast?
Yeah, I was at Wizards for 14 years. And for 7 years I was, and I just left last year to kind of come here. It was getting closer to family and stuff like that, especially after a pandemic. So yeah,
I think that's something everybody did after pandemic. They were like readjusting what's important.
I mean, it's still going on, but whatever.
Yeah. So my parents, my family are still in New Brunswick, but that's a lot closer than Seattle. So I spent about 7 years on Magic the Gathering. I was lead concept artist on that. So we'd just bring in artists and we'd create all those crazy worlds. I can't even name all the ones we created. There's just
Magic sets come out fast.
They do, and we do like 2 or 3 worlds a year.
Yeah, I can't keep up. My sons love it, but I can't keep up.
Yep. Then after about 7 years there on Magic, I moved over to D&D. Spent about 7 years on D&D. And D&D, I was still doing concept art, got into doing art direction, ended up managing the art studio for my last couple of years there, which again was really tough because everyone was working from home.
Sure.
So we were putting books together all in different places, so that was pretty crazy.
And art can be a real, like, I don't know if this is how it worked there, but I would anticipate that art can be a pretty collaborative process where, you're looking over one another's shoulders and that when you're together, but when you're not together.
Yes. Yeah. And there's a system too for like commissioning the art. And then it comes in and there's a system for leaving comments, but you always need to talk through it.
Sure.
and sort of say, oh, what can we do about this one? Should we change this a bit? So we had to learn to collaborate differently.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then basically moving back to Canada, I heard from the folks at Larian, and they said, well, if you're moving back to Canada, come do stuff with us. And I was like, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and besides that, on another aside, my old friend Matthew Walsh and I are currently working on a little RPG kind of thing. It's so we're still figuring out exactly what it is, but we're going to put out a playtest pretty soon. Kind of made a commitment of in the next 2 months or sooner, we're going to put something out.
If you need a playtester, I know a guy.
Well, absolutely. Yeah.
I know a guy. I know a couple guys. I know a couple girls. We can get that done for you.
Cool.
Yeah.
The part we're excited about, the mechanics are basically, a lot of it's just D&D, and we'd like to put some modularity in there, so you can maybe swap out rules if you wanted to swap out rules. But we think a big part of it is sort of our setting we have, but also how we're thinking of presenting the setting. Could be pretty fun. So that's the
I'm
stuff
looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it.
I hope it's as cool as we think it might be.
I think it will be. I think it will. I think that the art that you've shown, that I've seen so far on it, I mean, I feel like art, Prep or Die uses art as a sort of a starting point as well. I think art is a starting point where most DMs get inspired and sort of begin to push an idea. And, you know, I think that, well, and you're specifically, I'm a little starstruck here, so I apologize, but we're playing, I'm with my sons and their friends, we're playing through Out of the Abyss, which your art is all over the place in that. And as I said, the best Demogorgon art out there, bar none. And I also love the pictures of the, I love Zvarts, and the fact that you did the entire staff over there at Wizard of the Coast is Zvarts. The Chris Perkins Zvart is iconic to me. Like, that's Chris Perkins. I think that was great. Yeah, I love that.
There's no question at all.
Oh, that gradually got out of control. Like, I started with myself and Adam Lee and Chris Perkins always used to go downstairs and get tea every morning. We coffee, but tea.
Yeah.
And we'd have a chat, and then we'd go up and start working. So it started with, I'll do me, Adam, Chris. And then our concept artist, Sean, I was like, oh, gotta do Sean. Sean has this great mustache, you know? And then gradually more people on the team were like, do my Zvart. And I was like, and I ended up literally doing everyone.
Oh my gosh. Zvarts are so good. Zvarts are so good. If anybody doesn't know, I think they originally appeared in, I want to say Fiend Folio. And
I think so, yeah.
And then they sort of grew from there. I love the old school module by Graham Morris. I think it's Graham Morris. The Sentinel and the Gauntlet, and Zvarts are in that as well. So I've grown up running Zvarts again and again and again. I love them. Anyways, enough of me gushing. Shall we start? We'll let you guys get working on your one shots. Sure. You get a half an hour, and then we'll come back and you guys can walk us through what you came up with for your one shot. You guys have already got the art. If Aphi and I yakking in your ears is too much, feel free to pop those headphones out or turn it down, and we'll just wave frantically at the screen if we need you back. Does that sound like a plan? Okay, 30 minutes, come up with some kind of adventure with those 5 pictures, and Aphi, let's start talking about our artwork for this week.
Alrighty. So our first piece of artwork depicts very large menfolk with very large swords standing in front of a bunch of treasure.
What about the feet? Their feet are kind of weird though, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, when you build on like Hero Forge or whatever, there are boots that you can get that have these sort of like 2-toed claws at the bottom. But yeah,
is that
it's
not for
weird.
making like 3-cream though?
Yeah. Yeah,
Am I
it
saying
does.
that right? Or Thry-cream?
Thry-cream.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Don't you
Yeah.
think there's always a chamber like this where it's like 3 chests lit by light at the top of stairs? Who's gonna go and open it? Who's gonna
I forgot to ask. Do we need to do these in order?
No order. Any
No
any way you want, Richard. If there's like whatever one fits in, fit it in any way you can. There's no
Perfect.
order required.
Excellent.
Maybe we should do that as like a step up. Like next time we'll be like, here's the one
The
shot.
super challenge.
Hard mode, extra points.
Pictures have to be in order. Yeah. No, you go any order you want. You go any
Mm.
order you want.
Yep.
Do you think those are giants? Like how big do you think those men are?
Yeah, I'm not sure because I'm also getting like clay golem sort of vibes with
I
all
like
like
that.
the dripping on them.
The
Or, like-
dripping. Oh, I see what you're saying. Like
Yeah.
the rock isn't quite formed. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're not like stone. They're more like viscous.
Mm-hmm. No, I like that idea.
Yeah. And I
don't-
always like playing with the like Sandman, where he can just kind of go
Mhm.
whoosh and disappears and then he pops up somewhere else.
Oh, I like that. That armor around the top of the leg, the thigh,
Mm.
it makes me think they're chickens from the waist down.
Oh my god, you're right.
Like that looks like feathers, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, you're totally right. It's
Artemis says stone golems, and they attack if you touch the chests.
yeah.
Northcut says no way a human foot fits in those boots.
No. The scale alone on this thing, unless you're like playing fairies or pixies or something, like
Did you read what Duality wrote? The chests are probably 3 feet or 91 centimeters. I love the exactness of that.
thank you
Not-
for the conversion.
91 centimeters. Hi femboy. That's Foxy.
That's Foxy. Hey Foxy.
Foxy. I like this because there's always, this is definitely a trap. This is like the
Oh,
old
Mm.
Indiana Jones statue
Or-
on a pedestal.
or it's the thing to give your players executive dysfunction because they're going to look at it and be like, that's a trap. And then they're going to take like 3 hours in the session to try and figure out the best way to go about doing this. And you don't have to prep anything.
What if you flip it on it? The chests are mimics and the treasure is inside the 2 statues.
Yes.
Like just totally flip it around.
Or like in
Totally
the
flip it around.
stalagmites behind them. It's not actually in the chest, it's in the stalagmites.
Yeah, I think you almost have to do that. Like, okay, so when I play with like the kids,
Mm.
you can pull this on them. You can be like, there's 3 chests in the room.
Yeah.
And they just rush to the chests.
Of course they do.
But with more experienced players, you go, there's 3 chests in the room. They still rush to the chest, but maybe they look for a trap first.
Yeah,
Maybe.
they would probably at very least do like a perception or investigation check to see if are there any traps or, cast a spell or detect traps,
Mm.
Whereas like when we went to Ragnarok and those 2 boys that joined us at the table just like
Yes.
murder hoboed everything.
Oh yeah. When you're 10, everything you hit with your axe. Like that's
Yes,
just
Absolutely.
that's part of the game. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely indeed. D Northcat says Grognard PTSD. Exactly.
Yeah.
We've been hit with these chests so many times. Absolutely. Duality, just doing some math to figure out the statues are about 15 to 18 feet tall, taking in the angles and the height of the stairs. Are you kidding me?
Look at you, little nerdling.
That's I've never seen this side of Duality before.
Oh, I
The
have.
the mathematician side.
No,
There you go.
you see it when you're behind the screen with Duality at your table. You
Yeah.
see the power gaming on the other side.
Okay, shall we move on to the next?
Yeah. So this one is pretty cool. Kind of my vibe.
Is it your vibe?
Goth vibe.
Oh.
Yeah, that vibe.
Yeah, that one.
Yep.
Oh, you
that
know
one.
what? I didn't give credit on that last one. Let me get
Oh.
the credit here. You can talk about this piece if you want.
Oh, okay.
first.
Well, this obviously depicts a skull that is floating above a pedestal, and there's a dead body with like a spear through its spine.
Maybe 2 dead
and-
bodies because there's another hand.
Oh
there,
yeah,
isn't
there is a hand there too. I didn't notice that. And then there's like on the pedestal itself, it looks like there's perfume and like an incense burner.
Yeah.
So,
So what's happening there?
like obviously there's some sort of riddle or puzzle. But then if you look in the background, there's actually another pedestal with other bottles and like a mug on it. So I'm thinking it could
it's
even
a
be
coffee mug. Potions.
Really? The guy
and
is just
coffee.
super tired. He's dead tired.
Right outside
So
the
you have to give him
dungeon,
the
there's
coffee.
a Tim's. There's a Tim's outside.
Yes. Yes.
This is a Canadian dungeon.
Dunkin' Donuts for
Okay.
the Americans.
Okay. Either way, what's sticking out of that back skeleton though? I tried to figure this out and I couldn't. I think it's some staff, wand, rod.
The way I'm seeing it, it's almost like a cane, like a sharp cane type thing, because it looks like it has some sort of bat on the top.
Yeah, I agree.
Zooming
Or a
in.
dragon or something.
Yeah, but it's definitely like a cane or a spear of some sort. It's not a sword because you would assume the wings would be the hilts.
But it's definitely stuck through that guy. And now that
Oh, yeah.
we're getting a closer look, we can see that he's wearing some sort of crazy cap.
Yeah, maybe he was just swimming.
Duality says it looks like a sword, but the hilt snapped. That would work too.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe the hilt is like in the skull. You have to
Ooh.
reconnect it or something.
Yeah, I would be okay with. I like that idea.
There's also
Someone mentioned a
some-
flaming skull taking a nap. I do think this has flaming skull vibes, like the floating skull.
100%, yeah. And you do have some engravings actually on the pedestal itself. It looks like there's a donkey and some people and like maybe a priestess of some sort in the middle.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. Like, but is that a pillow on top? And is that a hole in the center of it, or is it the skull's shadow? I think it's probably the skull's shadow.
I don't know. I think it's actually a hole. Because you have the sort of rushed out shadow on the back.
Yeah.
And the way the light is on the rest of the thing is all like pushed back, so it wouldn't be directly down.
Okay, I've always wanted to run an adventure where there's something that you have to put your hand into, but you play it at the table and you actually make the box the player has to blind reach into.
Oh god.
Then suddenly it's like, could you imagine?
Nose goes. It's not me.
What if you got those little you can get those mealworms that actually move around?
No, that would be freaking
you
horrifying.
reach in and there's they can't hurt you.
No.
Richard is enjoying this. They can't hurt you. They can't hurt you.
I don't want to stick my hand in something and have it move.
Okay, fine. Someone use that in their game and let me know how it goes. Yeah, it is sort of a fear factor thing. Absolutely right. It would be good. It would be good. What I like about this picture is I think, and you can tell as we've like, there's lots of little detail in here that someone can pick out and go like, I'm going to use it this way or that way.
Yeah. And I think actually under the tarp type thing, there may be a full sword under there.
Oh.
It looks like. Or at least like the top of one.
Yeah. So let me jump in here very quickly. So the last picture we did, the 3 chests, that comes from Outland Entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
And they did art for Goodman Games for Into the Borderlands. And that comes from the Into the Borderlands book, is my understanding. Now, I know that was not in the standard, like, Heap on the Borderlands. I think they've expanded it for Into the Borderlands.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where that came from. And this one, the skull, this is actually from Rapanathuk by Frog God Games. Rapanathuk is like a super mega dungeon and very old school feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this skull fits in very well.
Oh, 100%.
Like, there's probably a trap in this room. There's probably a save or die in this room somewhere.
You know,
absolutely.
I would be the jerk DM, as you know, that, you know, makes the door.
I think you're pretty
door.
nice, actually. Makes the what?
Makes the door pull instead of push.
Mm-hmm,
so when you try to kick it, you're not doing anything because the hinges are on the other side.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I feel
I've actually been there, I believe.
I know. That was our first TikTok on the Vactair's TikTok.
Yeah.
Was
check out my reel today because it would apply to that as well.
Yeah, I know.
Okay,
I saw it. So I feel like the mentality of the player is going to be to find something to poke the skull.
Yeah.
Because the skull is obviously like the central point in the room. Probably
but is it
where
just
the trap
floating there?
is. Sorry?
Is it just floating there?
I think
noticed
so.
It just came to me. The mouth is open.
Yeah,
I mean, it could be talking.
it could be. But let me continue.
Keep going. Continue.
They're gonna try and grab something to poke it. So either the sword under the tarp or the cane in the spine.
Yeah.
They're gonna grab that, and that's where the trap is.
On the thing to poke it?
Yeah, on the thing to poke it instead
that's
of
good.
the actual skull. Or maybe, both. Both is good.
A Serac singing the song of his people. I agree. I actually think that this has a little bit of Tomb of Horrors Demi-Lich vibe coming from it.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so.
Definitely.
Okay, let's hit our next one.
Okay, our next one would be something Sly would enjoy.
I just noticed
very
D.
much.
Northcutt goes, maybe it's a magic tuffet. Now I want the magic tuffet.
Oh my god, yes. We need the magic tuffet. Okay, so we have some sort of temple entrance in a cavern. Minotaur.
Yeah, cavern
labyrinth.
or chasm.
Yeah.
Canyon. I really like this.
Yeah, me too.
I really like this. We'll get this out of the way right now. So we don't know what this picture is called. We're calling it the Minotaur Temple. But it's from a role-playing game called The Adventurer, Conqueror, and King system, which I was not familiar with, but you can pick it up on Drive-Thru RPG just to give it a bit of a shout out in PDF form.
Mm-hmm.
It screams ancient temple. This is very Conan to me.
Oh yeah.
Like very sword and sorcery, Conan, Red Sonja, sort of barbarians and monsters. Yeah. I love, you mentioned maze. I love that idea.
Yeah.
That hadn't even occurred to me. Like,
well, Minotaurs are usually
it all
depicted
makes
in some
sense.
sort of labyrinth. Yeah. And if you look down at the bottom, there's these Minotaur that are leading probably prisoners.
Captured people. Oh, I didn't even notice those were Minotaurs.
Yeah, so the people at the front, like they're Minotaurs, and the ones in the back look like they're sort of chained together. So probably prisoners, probably some sort of sacrifice.
And there looks like there's a cave off to the right there. Do you see that? Like
just a very tiny one, yeah.
Not just the entrance.
Yeah. So I'm thinking probably like Minotaur god, bringing these sacrifices in as like totems of worship. And I don't know, maybe that's the party. And they have to figure out how to survive. And of course, because this is something that's been done frequently, they are able to like pick up gear as they go. And, they just have to basically outpace the Minotaur that's in there hunting them.
I love the idea that maybe like a dungeon in reverse, like this Minotaur takes the party to the center of the dungeon and then goes like,
and they have to figure out their way out.
Mm-hmm. It's not about getting in and finding the treasure. It's just about getting back out. That'd be cool.
And they would find like their gear and stuff along the way, because they're not going to be put in the middle of the dungeon without gear, but they'll be able to find like weapons and stuff from other fallen sacrifices on the way.
So Chad has brought up, D. Northcutt brings up the ancient city of Petra in Jordan, which is featured in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yes.
And it kind of has that feel to it. And I think you're absolutely right. The way it's buried into the wall like that.
Yeah.
And we don't know what's beyond, for sure. And this looks like sand, sort of partially blocking the entrance, right? So it's the statue of the great Minotaur bard. Apharia? Is that a real character? Duality, are you
all hail the cowbell?
All hail the cowbell. What we need is more cowbell. I'm down for that. Christopher Walken's as the Minotaur.
Yeah. No. We're gonna want more cowbell in there.
What are you doing?
My last sacrifice
in my labyrinth.
Much more entertaining.
Fantastic. Well, you know what, Rich, we've got you here. Is there a picture that sort of started it for you? It doesn't have to be one of the ones we mentioned, but is there one that you got your creativity rolling?
Yeah, and like this is my first time doing this, so I'm just throwing stuff
I know
out.
you're a rookie. You're a rookie.
I'm a rookie. My dog is also going crazy playing with this toy. If you hear growling, it's not me.
Maybe it is you. Maybe it is.
No judgment.
see.
He's playing with his toy monkey. So the one I kind of started with was the guy with the big sword.
Oh, nice. Okay. I don't think we've gotten to him yet, but I know the one you're talking about. And was it him or something about that picture that sort of got the ball rolling, or?
Yeah, he made me think of someone who's like an NPC that you know,
Yeah.
like sort of a mentor NPC,
Mhm.
and I have an idea for like sort of a quest he can give you in a way.
Yeah.
Like,
Is there one that's not fitting in?
Yes, the one with the two big giants and like the three chests.
Yes.
To me, it's like a second location off theme.
Fair enough. It doesn't
Because
quite fit in.
I like the Minotaur one as a location better,
Yep.
and then the other one's like, this is a different location on a totally different theme, so it doesn't look like it belongs inside there. Or
One of these things are not like the others. Yes.
yeah. So that one throws me a bit.
Well, we'll let you continue and see if you can get it worked in.
Mm-hmm.
If not, you may have to die at the end. That might be how this works.
I'm okay with that.
I don't.
I've had a good
I
run.
don't know. It's been a good run. Exactly. Stuart, can you hear us? He can.
Winston.
I can hear you.
You can. So is there a picture that got things rolling for you?
I liked the picture of the two statues with the swords.
With the chest in the middle?
3 chests in the middle.
3 chests, yes. So that was the one that got it going for you.
Yes.
Is there one that's not working in well?
No, I think they're all working, and I think am I supposed to say where I'm going with things, or is that like surprise for the end?
You can give us a little hint, yeah.
So the statues with the swords reminded me of something from this old book.
I know exactly. I think I know exactly. Yeah.
That got me thinking along those lines, and certainly I recognized the drawing of the strange wizard from Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser, but
yes,
I don't want to do that because we're going to do something different with it. So that's an interesting.
You can do.
You can do anything you want to.
We once used the glaive from Krull as an inspiration picture, and someone was like, no, this is the actual glaive from Krull. I'm not riffing on it, this is actually it, which was pretty cool, and it became an adventure about where the glaive had been. But yeah,
so I would say the interesting thing about that picture isn't so much the wizard, it's the skulls in the tree
I like that, yeah,
behind the wizard, and that we have a skull in the other picture. And then how are we going to tie those together? Why are there skulls in both of these illustrations? And from there, things start to develop, and the story starts coming together piece by piece.
Awesome. We'll let you keep doing it.
Okay.
Jazzy, can you hear us? I feel like that could be the opening to a song. Jazzy, can you hear me? Wait. Was there a song that started like that? Jazzy?
Tommy, can you hear me?
You're muted.
Hi. Yes.
Oh, there
Sorry.
you are.
Did you say
My
mommy?
light's not on.
Tommy. It's from
okay,
the musical Tommy.
Okay.
Tommy,
that.
can you hear me?
There it is.
There you go.
Hi.
Jazzy's got pipes, by the way.
No, not me.
Oh yeah, you can sing, girl. You can sing. Is there a picture that works for you that got things rolling?
Oh my goodness, that got things rolling. They're all speaking to me.
English?
I don't know
Maybe
about
not.
English, but
Okay, fair enough.
I mean the fact that the skulls in the like happy skull and the guy with the dots
Yes.
kind of mixed together kind of gave me like a spot.
Oh,
And then I
excellent.
kind of rolled with the other 3, kind of creating 2 different areas within the adventure. But
Good.
this giant temple with like the Minotaur definitely like got my attention right away.
Yeah. I like that one too.
Loving it.
You know, when we look for pictures, it's not often that like a picture. Sometimes Jason and I waffle on a picture, like it is got enough in it to do something for the show, etc. But that one we both looked at and went, oh yeah, that's it. Like we were both on it like that. Really like that piece. So
I saw that and I was like, that's a place I want to go.
I'm glad it's speaking to you.
Yeah.
I'm glad it's speaking to you. Duality in chat says that they're speaking Latin.
Latin.
So that's what you're hearing.
Artemis says
Maybe.
abyssal, and I would go with that.
Okay,
Abyssal
that's fair.
would work for the area that I'm thinking about. So
Yeah. How are we for time there, Queen Aphi?
We got 8.5 minutes.
There you go, Chazzy. You got 8.5 minutes. Make it
Wow.
happen or die.
okay, I better start moving. I may be
Okay.
getting a little too wordy.
Starts
Good.
off like wonderfully, and then it's bullet points.
Yeah.
Fine.
That's okay. We'll take it.
That's how
We'll
I
take
DM.
Okay.
I only do bullet points. So-
I only do bullet points too. You know what? I also I've regressed. I only print. Like
Oh, really?
I remember being taught to write like
Cursive?
what's it called?
Cursive?
I've not used cursive since I left high school.
Same.
Yeah. I only like I can't even tell you how many classes the teacher
Focus.
like do your cursive, do
Sir.
your cursive.
Sir.
Okay, sorry. Go. You guys go back to planning. We'll talk the last. Is this the next picture?
Yes. So this one I have feels about
Okay.
because it could be like some like monstrosity or whatever that's kind of talking to this creature, but I get like representation of the manifestation of depression from this.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I think it's a beautiful piece.
I've struck a nerve. I've struck a
No,
nerve.
you haven't struck a nerve at all, but that's what I get because
This
it's
feels like
this.
this feels like depression to you.
Yeah.
I think it's because like I will give you like I don't know if it's depression that hits me, but it's almost like resignment. Like
Yeah. Well,
it's
that's
done,
part of
eat me.
depression. Like this is just how it is, you know.
Yeah.
But like all of the black kind of closing in, and then you have this little whisper of, you know, not to trigger anybody, but like suicidal ideation is that like little whisper coming out and saying, you know, we could make the pain stop.
I also think though if you could do a second frame of this and it was like fight, that would be good too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like just a little bit. So this, let's talk about this picture first then. So this picture is by the artist Gerardo Zaffino.
Mm-hmm.
I highly recommend that you go check him out on Instagram. It's just Gerardo Zaffino. You'll find him. And this picture was actually a cover for a comic that Image Comics put out. And I'm just trying to get it here now. It was by God Country, issue 1. And the artist himself says, this is the cover for God Country 1 before I ruined it with color. I couldn't imagine this picture being colored. I think the black and white nails it.
No, I think so too. It's beautiful and haunting and just lovely. Like I love it. I mean, as much as I struggle with mental health and depression and everything, like this is just how I feel some days where I have this sword and I fight and then sometimes I just need a minute.
And that is a big sword.
It is a big sword.
Like that's no joke. That's no joke. Do you think that's a graveyard he's standing in?
I feel like it could be, or some sort of shrine to
There's definitely stones
people
there.
to people who've
This-
passed. Artemis
kinda
says
has a-
this could be a manifestation of survivor guilt, which could work in a campaign where
Look at
it
you
was
guys
almost a
going
full
deep
TPK.
here.
Yeah, we're getting deep today.
Oh, he's like all that's left of the party.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I'm gonna go shallow again.
That's okay.
There's a bit of a Venom feel. Do you not think?
Oh, for sure.
Spider-Man Venom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
There's
mean,
a lot of teeth there.
there are a lot of teeth there.
When my wife looked at this picture, she saw the tongue. She's like, "So this is some kind of tentacle creature?" I'm like, "I think that's a tongue. Like, to me, those are teeth above and below him."
Yeah,
But I
that's a
guess they
mouth
could be-
talking to it.
Yeah, like that could be anything.
Yeah. But,
Massive.
I mean, it could also
though.
just be in his head.
Oh, Northcut, I really like that. Maybe it's a patron of some kind. This is like a hex
Yeah.
blade, and this is patron.
A
The great
hexblade
idea.
or I mean, it could even go as far as like Raven Queen, maybe.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I think it's a I mean, we've obviously pointed out here that's a bit of an evocative. People have lots of emotion about it. Hang on a sec. The moment before the barbarian goes berserk, absolutely. This could be death coming for him. Plush, I like that idea.
Yeah, and he's kind of put his sword down because he's ready.
Yeah, you're right. Because if the picture has the sword up and he's ready to swing it, it gives a totally different feel to the picture, don't you?
Yeah.
think?
But no, this is just, this is how it's going to be, and that's okay.
Yep.
I'm okay with that.
Wow. I did not know we were going to go there.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. Chat, I know we've had lots of people talking about this picture here. So just is it yay or nay in the end? Is it a good piece or is it not a good piece? I think it's a good piece.
I think it's a great piece. I mean, for nothing else, that it sparked so much discussion and so many comments.
Yeah.
It had
Absolutely.
It had its own movement and emotion, and it's resonated with obviously a couple people at least.
Yeah. Okay, let's hit the next one and final one, and then we should be just about out of time for our people prepping their one shots.
I love this one.
Do you?
I do.
I'm glad.
It's spoopy. It's got like the horror vibes, and I don't like watching horror, but I love like manifesting it and running it. But yeah, I love the skulls in the trees and this sort of Grim Reaper-esque figure in the front. And when I first saw the picture, I actually started thinking about Splinter Cell, because the video game, when you're in Splinter Cell, he's got the night vision, and it's just like this dark visage and then like the glowing eyes.
Yep.
So I mean, I'm getting like Spelljammer vibes, and just
That'd
like
be cool.
a heisty or break and enter kind of vibe.
This is interesting because so the artist is Scott Murphy, and I'm sorry we don't know where this actual picture, like the book or the or what it comes from. We do know it's Scott Murphy that did the art. We do know that the character is Ningoble. For those that don't know, Ningoble is from Lankmar. It is from the writings of Fritz Lieber. If you have not read Fritz Lieber, but you enjoy like sort of sword and sorcery, if you like Conan, there's definitely some Conan feel there. But there's also some weird stuff, and Ningoble is a wizard. Basically, by using magic, you can't not be affected by it. So Ningoble has all these extra eyes now, and it's creepy.
It is creepy.
That's and I did not tie in the skulls to the other skulls, so I'm glad some of our guests did. Ningoble of the Seven Eyes, absolutely. That's what we're seeing here. And if you're interested in that sort of thing, Fritz Lieber is the boss. I love his stuff.
Yeah.
Love his stuff. And I only found it like much later in life. Interesting though, like you were pointing out things like Spelljammer and futuristic video games.
I think it would be because of the Splinter Cell vibe that I got from it.
Yeah,
But
no,
that's the
absolutely.
only
I don't
reason.
think there's anything wrong with that. I just think it's interesting that Ningoble is sort of like the reverse of that. He's from like a time of pulp fiction, a time of like short stories and really sword and sorcery, not high magic, very low magic, and magic twisting people that use it. So I really like that. Femboy Reed says, just got a swords book today. Yeah, they're great. They're great. I one summer went through all kinds of Fritz Lieber. Very cool. Very cool. Are we out of time?
We are. It just went off.
Time is up.
Our time is up.
Jazzy.
Hi.
Hi.
Put your pencil down.
What pencil?
Okay.
What an archaic tool you're discussing.
I know. It is called old men rolling dice, right? There's some.
I'm using a pencil.
There's some. There you go. See?
Japanese pen.
Japanese pen. Look
I
at
The
can't
nicest
talk.
pens
I've got-
come from Japan.
I've got a wormwood
Nice.
pencil because I'm bougie.
I'm sorry, a wormwood
Fancy.
pencil?
I do. I got it for
Oh.
Christmas.
It's pretty bougie.
It is bougie.
Hey.
It was ridiculous.
Someone makes a lot of money.
No. No. I just have spending issues.
Okay, I'll say this before we start rolling dice and having people go. Stuart showed a Fiend in Folio. That book is my nemesis. I don't have it in my collection anymore, and it continues to elude me.
Really?
Oh yeah, yep. So when you put it up there, I was like, ah. I have found copies of it, but it's not in good condition. And I'm looking for something that's like a little more decent than everything I've found. So anyway,
The old
there.
Fiend Folio,
the old Fiend Folio, the original Fiend Folio. I had it, and then as an idiot back in the day, I was like, I'm never gonna play first edition again.
4th edition's here now. I don't need this old
Fourth,
garbage.
yeah, baby.
Get it out of here.
And yeah, then I got rid of all my books, and I sold them for $5 a piece.
It is some of the coolest monsters in
Oh,
there, and then some of the weirdest.
Yeah,
Like there's one that's just the adherer or something. It's like a sticky guy.
I put that in. I put that in an adventure.
That sounds
I
fun.
like the challenge of the weird Fiend Folio monsters, and
Yeah.
so you take them, and you just creatively reinterpret them, and it can be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it also
it's
gave us
fun
the Gift
too when you-
Yankee.
The Gift Yankee, yeah. It's fun too when you don't
I
tell
love
players the name of the creature and you just describe it. And then they're like, what the hell is this?
Look at
I
that
didn't-
old man rolling dice sticker right there. Yeah. I got my prepper die sticker.
Oh, Old Man
And
Rolling Dice.
I got
Look at that.
my old
Stickers
man rolling
everywhere.
dice sticker that is missing somebody, but we won't talk about it.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I got my stickers in the mail last week. I was very excited.
They're awesome.
I'm feeling nutcrackered again.
Good, you should.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Merry
I
Christmas.
did get a separate DM Aphi sticker though.
I
I wasn't told there would be stickers.
I can send you stickers, Rich. No problem.
Yeah,
I will send you
Probably
stickers.
should.
This is what we do here. We send
We love
stickers out all
stickers.
the
I've
time.
got stickers everywhere.
So
Obviously.
Good.
okay, listen. Here's what we
Focus.
do now. We roll 12-sided dice. Because I feel the 12-sided dice is the most underused dice in the dice set.
Yes.
Exactly. Like, we need more 12-siders. Aphi will tell you the number breakdown because I never get it right. Because 9 to 12 never sounds right to me. That's 3 numbers, not 4. But anyway. Yeah. So how are we breaking this number down?
1 to 4 is Richard.
Okay.
5 to 8 is Stuart.
Okay.
9 to 12 is Jazzy.
Okay.
Okay. Are you good?
Yes,
you trust
it's
me?
fine. I'm good. I'm good.
All right, I rolled an 11, so Jazzy, you're up first.
On a side
boy.
note, Duality thinks we should use a percentile dice.
Ooh.
But I already did it.
And you have to split it 3
But
ways.
percentile doesn't really work 3 ways.
No.
There's like an extra 0.1%.
33.333.
You know what? Maybe if you roll 00, then you yourself have to present with no preparation at all or die.
But I just. Oh.
By the way, percentile dice, 00 and then the 0. So there's 2 zeros on one and 0 on another. That is 100. Am I right?
Yes.
Or is someone here the chaotic jerk that calls that 10? You do not. You're just doing that to bother me. Do you
Yes, I
really?
am. That's 100 for sure.
I was about to rant. You were
I know.
this close.
I could see it in your face.
You were this close.
Whoopee.
The
Okay.
red would
Abby.
start.
Okay, Jazzy, you're up. You've done this before, so maybe this is the
I
right way
have.
to go.
You got this. You're
But
awesome.
I had like the knights behind me. Yeah, so
I'll be behind you instead.
awesome. That's even better.
I
So
I'm not so sure.
okay. So
Awkward.
this is our adventure. It begins with a traveling party of notorious adventurers, as they always do. They're known for their skill in finding rare artifacts that none have seen or heard of for centuries. And they've been traveling for weeks in a treacherous desert, sandstorms and heat wearing them down. They see ahead, finally, the landmark that they've been searching for. There's a break in the land and the sand, giving way to rock and a fissure deep in the earth, indicative of a place that they have been seeking. As the party makes their way closer, they see the magnificent Temple de Minotaur, a shrine of the long-lost civilization of the Minotaur people.
Sorry. That's great.
Its intricate carvings are still visible, having been protected from the sandstorms by the fissure it was built into. Your party enters, and so the adventure begins. Upon entering the temple, the party will be faced with a few decisions, obviously. It would be a relatively standard dungeon crawl, not very high with chance of encounters due to the nature of the temple being long forgotten. But there are still some protectors within. I would rig a few rooms with trapdoors, maybe a few magic doors, standard traps for people to be worried about. But once in the middle of the temple, the party would stumble upon a throne room of sorts. 2 stone golems would flank the stairs to a treasure trove at one end. And if the party seeks to claim said treasure, as most adventurers would, they would have to fight those stone golems in order to claim it. Upon seeking more of the more areas of the throne room, a perception check would be needed in order to reveal a secret door that is behind the throne of the throne room. That door leads to a cavern that's hidden deep inside the temple. It's very different inside there. Sheer cliffs with stalactites and stalagmites, very wild and natural. Not this carved, pristine temple that they've been looking at. It's in this area that the party would meet a Goliath named Senatopsis. This would be an NPC. He explains to the party that the civilization that was once so great here was overpowered by an evil being that now dwells in the depths of this cavern. That great power in the cavern is a variant of a skull lord. I would reskin a skull lord to fit this image that we had of the guy with the eyes. It has become so encompassed in evil that it has lost all resemblance to the skull-like features. The final battle would involve this creature, along with a few hordes of smaller undead that work with pack tactics. If the DM chooses, Senatopsis can be used as an ally in this fight to assist the party. That's about as far as I got, but I did decide that the artifact that the party was seeking would be the skull that was presented on I called it a pillow, and it would be a powerful skull that would bring long life to anybody who sought to pay hordes of money for it.
Nice. You stumped me on Skull Lord. I was not familiar. I feel like a bit of a rookie.
I may have looked it up with an encounter.
That's okay.
Builder.
Look, however you got there.
Oh,
But I'm usually pretty good at that, and it's really powerful.
It is.
So what level would you put this one shot at?
I would probably make it at least a level 8 or a level 9 for the party.
Nice. That's great. I especially liked your names.
Yeah, they were fun.
I try to come up with fun stuff.
Thanks, kid.
Yeah, you got to put something in there for the DM to trip over.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly. I feel like DMs do that to themselves. They make really complex names.
Yes.
And they either can't say them or the party makes fun of them because they sound like
Absolutely.
body parts or something.
Something else, exactly. There's always like a fart joke in there.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
Yeah. But I mean,
Boba Fett's kind of a silly name until it's cool.
that's a good point.
I mean, boba's in a drink, right?
Yeah,
Boba?
Boba. Feta.
What is Boba?
Look up the bad guy in
Bubble tea.
Sarah of Yellowcrest Manor
Bubble tea.
What
in
is-
Candlekeep Adventures.
What's the name?
Sarah of Yellowcrest Manor. Look up the bad guy's name in that one and tell me what you think sometime.
Oh.
He's doing it right now because
I'm going right
he's
now.
gonna have feelings.
Yellowcrest Manor. Here we go.
It should be. I think it's book 7.
Oh yeah, it came up. Now I'm scrolling for the bad guy. Wait a minute, Sarah's ghost is in here. You're in this adventure. Now I can't find that. Now I can't...
Focused.
I'm trying to find the bad guy's name. Leave me alone, Aphi. roll your dice. Who are we?
Oh, okay. So
I'm sorry. Is it Vialis? So Viagra.
Vialis.
So yes, my party
Vialis?
kept calling him either Lord Viagra or Lord
Yeah.
Cialis the whole time.
Yep.
Oops.
If you had Aphi in your party, that would be an immediate.
The entire time.
Except I would be like,
No, you make fun of my you make fun of my stuff a lot.
it would be like Lord Limp or something.
That'd be awesome.
As controlled as DM Chris is behind the DM screen, as soon as he's on the other side, he is
Yes.
chaos incarnate.
I feel like that's
All
every
the-
DM.
I think all dungeon masters are. When they get on the other side of the screen, they're the worst players.
I'm just putting this out there, but when you do a one shot and say you can have one common magical item, an airship is a common magical item. Putting that out there.
Amen.
That doesn't even
Enjoy
seem
the
right.
Is it that
chaos.
condom? It's like a rent-a-car.
Yeah, that does not seem right. Okay, who are you rolling for now?
So 1 to 6 is Richard, and
You don't want to do
7
odds and evens, hey?
I can do that. I don't care.
No, you do it your way. You do it
You
your
know
way.
what? I'm gonna drive to your house and shove this.
I'm going to lock the
PG.
door right now.
I got an 8, so the steward is up.
All right.
Stuart, you're up.
Oh, man.
Okay, so let me just get these pictures back here. So I started with the image of the multi-eyed wizard, and so the adventure begins with the party hearing about a wizard who lives in the hills outside of town who may have a job for them, and so they make their way there and they meet Lovak the Mysterious. And
Give us a moment on that name.
Lovak?
so what I like to do, I like to have
I think
names.
you're safe.
I
Nope.
like to have names that I can pronounce, but I also still like jokes and puns and stuff. But it only has to be funny to me when I'm making up these names. So they're usually something in another language. Google Translate is my friend, and so I'll spoil all the secrets of the adventure by just blatantly having it in Bulgarian or Croatian or something like that. So it'll tell you exactly
I love
what
it.
this guy's all about, just in another language. And if by chance someone is a polyglot, then they get to know what's going on.
Bonus points.
So he offers the party and you can see in the picture he is a strange alien looking wizard. You see the floating eyes. An astute party would realize they're not dealing with someone who's human. And all the trees or all the skulls hanging from the tree behind him, and he says that he will pay the party 500 gold pieces if they return with the skull from the Temple of the Beast. And he gives directions, and that leads to the next picture, which is that Minotaur looking building. Now there are beastmen and beastmen in my game, and I'd be running old school basic D&D, perhaps old school essentials. So I would reskin orcs, and they would be beastmen for this. And the beastmen have been capturing prisoners from the nearby barbarian tribes, and they bring them to the Temple of the Beast. So when the party arrives, they have to fight their way past the beastmen who are outside, and they would have some barbarian captives there. They'd have to decide, what are they going to do? Are they going to try to talk to these people? Are they going to bring them along? Are they going to let them go loose? So there's some potential for role playing there. throughout the adventure, there's because I would also run like a low level D&D type thing. There's a lot of opportunity for translating languages and things like that, so that first level magic user isn't just that one spell person. They're also the character who's going to have the most languages, so they can be translating things for the party, so they have something interesting to contribute. As they make their way inside the temple, and they start making their way through the dungeon, little things start to make it apparent that this isn't a human construction, and in fact, towards the end, they realize it's actually some kind of alien ship. So if you look at the picture, it's actually a rocket. It's a rocket with a skull, with a Minotaur type head. So we're going for that old sword and sorcery type thing, where we're mixing a little bit of science fiction into our fantasy.
For sure.
As they adventure, they will encounter a possessed barbarian, and that's the picture of the barbarian with the large sword.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a shaved head. If they talk to any of the barbarian tribesmen, or if they capture any of the beastmen, the shaved head is really important to them. So this is something that they're doing along the way. And the Glavu tribe have been raided frequently, and they bring either people who are already bald, or in some other way have a beautiful round, perfectly shaped head. This is very important to them. As we adventure throughout the complex, we find the chest room with the guardians, and there are 3 chests, and written in ancient runes, which perhaps one of the magic users could cast comprehend languages to understand this. Choose one, and inside the 3 chests are 3 different items. The caryatid columns outside of the chests will let them take 1 item from one of the chests, but if they try to take more, they'll animate and attack. The 3 items are a magic dagger, a scroll of dispel magic, and a potion that provides protection against psychic attacks like domination. And then as we adventure further, and I believe that would be our last room, the skull room, we find there's a skull on a pillow, and there's dead adventurers around the room, other people who have tried to claim this skull over the years for the alien wizard. The skull is actually a magic jar that has the spirit of an alien inside it, and this magic jar allows it to possess the tribesmen that are brought, and then use that to attack the party. And so in this room, it will try to possess one of the other party members to attack the rest of the party. So they have to figure out how to deal with that. There's some other items in the room. There's a wand of spectral bats sticking out of one of the skeletons, which is just reskinned magic missile. There is in one of the little vials on top of the table in front of the skull, there's a periapt of power, and if it's set to rotate around any of the players' heads, it gives them protection against psychic attacks. But if it's put around the skull, it traps the entity inside the skull, so they could then safely use that to return to the alien wizard. And once they
That's
do,
cool.
he would add that to his collection of skulls that are hanging from the tree, because he is actually a type of alien policeman who is tracking down all of these sort of escaped prisoners and collecting them in his tree, and eventually he will return to whatever planet he came from.
I like that.
That's that.
That's pretty cool. I like the sort of useless cop angle at the end. I need this guy, but I'm not going to do it, so you do it.
I love the idea of choice. there's no way the party's probably taking all 3 of those items. So
Oh,
they're gonna
100%.
fight.
Yeah.
I would love to believe there's a party out there that goes, it says choose one, just pick one.
Well, I mean, you see those two statues, right?
Sure, I
right
know.
there. So and as low level adventurers, I think they're certainly in an older edition as well, where you have to play a little bit more cautiously.
I'd like to believe
I
that.
can see that going in a couple of different ways. I think a lot of parties would make the mistake and pay the price. But
I ran my son and his friend through a low level adventure. I said there's a gem in the middle of the room and there's skeletons all around it, and everything looks burnt. And I even showed them the old picture from Tomb of Horrors with the gem and all the skeletons burnt around it. They still picked it up.
I can hear our table divided.
Yeah.
Should we
Two
take?
people over here that say, let's just do it. And the 2 people over here that say, that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Mhm.
those discussions are the most fun. If they just quickly
Yes,
decide
they
to
are.
do it, it's like, and if they quickly decide not to, it's okay. But when there's that debate,
The one
Anyone-
person who's like, I'm going to wait until everybody else leaves and grab it. And it's like,
There's
dang it.
always that one. There's always
Yep.
that one.
We definitely have 2 chaotic neutrals and 2 waffle goods.
Oh, what could go
That's-
wrong?
Did you say waffle good?
Waffle good.
Waffles
Yeah,
are good.
waffle good.
Like,
Waffle
That's
good
maybe-
works.
from now on.
Maybe
Waffle
good,
good.
but maybe
maybe
not so
I'm
good.
waffling
A
about
little
it.
syrup and
Okay.
I could be swayed.
I could be convinced.
If Appy's in the party, she's taking all 3.
Good maple syrup,
No.
Yes,
This is
yes, you
no.
are.
No, because if I went in there as a level 1 adventurer, saw these giant golem things, and it said choose one, no,
Okay.
I'm too suspicious
Just a
for
minute,
that.
Artemis. If you are in chat, you back me up on this. She would take all 3, would she not? I think Artemis is in chat, and you would take all 3. I know you would.
I would not.
I would build that encounter. She says probably.
Probably.
Artemis.
I would build that encounter knowing you would take all 3. But like, it's like the red button. Don't push it.
Okay,
Don't push it.
yeah.
Anyway, that was
you have,
awesome.
you have to put sparkles on the red button to encourage them to
True.
push it.
Ooh,
You have to make it obvious to some
like
players that
Dorothy's
it's a bad
red
idea,
slippers red button.
but
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
enticing enough to that one player that they're going to do
Exactly.
it.
I would
Exactly.
100% push the red button. Opening all 3 chests and taking all 3 items when there's 2 giant golems there, probably not.
Well, you get a little bit of that let's make a deal, right? So you've opened up the chest and you found one magic item. And then everyone starts thinking, oh my goodness, there's more magic items. We could
Or
we could
is
have
it
it
a
all.
donkey?
Or is it a
You know what?
donkey?
I'm gonna put this exact encounter in our so we're here on Prep or Die on Wednesdays, but the opposite Wednesday we play a 5th edition game over on my channel. I will put this exact encounter in. Appy's in the game. I will put the exact encounter in with 3 chests, and she will take all 3.
It won't be
See
me,
what-
it'll be Rosanna.
Rosanna also.
But will
probably-
one of them be
my
a
other
mimic?
player definitely, but the 2 of you will be in on it together. I think
Maybe.
so. Ryan in chat, he's like, I'll touch it. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He's in our game too. Okay. Thank you, Stuart, for creating this debate. But it's gonna get settled.
I only rolled a 3 damage. Sorry, Richard, you're still alive.
You're still alive,
Oh.
Richard. You didn't die.
Excellent.
Richard, hit us with your 1 shot.
Okay.
Fire away.
I kind of started with the picture with the guy with the big sword.
Yeah.
I figure your adventurers are starting probably not at first level because a lot of this looks very dangerous. So in a previous game, they've maybe joined the guild of this guy with the big sword, and his name is Brogan Broadblade or something such thing.
I like it.
So you're kind of getting used to being new members of this guild, and he kind of calls you into the Great Hall. Maybe that's where that 3 chest thing is. And he kind of shows you his. He basically explains to you that there's a problem, and they're like, your characters are probably like, we're pretty happy to be part of the guild now. Is that why you called us in? And he's like, no, it's kind of worse than that. And he shows you his arm, and it's beginning to grow like an eyeball. and like a little set of teeth, and it's like, and he's basically gotten afflicted or cursed with like a disease that will eventually turn him into a gibbering mouther. So he's like, and also he doesn't want it to spread, so he can't leave this place. This place is warded. So he needs you. Unfortunately, there's only one person who's the Malchris, the sage, who may know how to cure this thing. So you have to go to a temple of Baphomet, which is the Minotaur Temple.
Yeah.
And you have to check out the temple. You have to go in the temple of Baphomet and find Malchris, the sage, so he can give you a cure or tell you how you might cure it. I got a little map here.
Oh, look at you.
And there's all kinds of little stuff, but you
I'm so here for that.
But the general idea was, when you get to the temple, you got to give a lot of different ways. Well, you don't have to give a lot, but you got to give a few different ways where they could get in there. So they could go, obviously there's always the front door. We're going to fight some Minotaurs. Or there's like maybe they'll disguise themselves and try to get in through the front door, or maybe they'll try to talk their way through the front door.
I'm picturing PCs in a cow costume. You know,
yeah,
that we're like one person
top secret.
Moo.
What do I get to be the back? But you give them a couple like that, they might be able to get in through that side cave. There may be an entrance through the top. I had a little river thing, underground river thing, so they could go through the river. So in there, like I said, on the little map, there's a few little encounters as you go through. One gag I put in a lot is just what I call the lever. So that's kind of what you were all talking about, where it's like there's just a room
liver
with a lever, and then players will pull it or not play it. Pretty much, it's 100% that players will pull it.
Oh,
Well, I probably can't see it, but if you pull the lever, it releases whatever this is in the pit.
Something horrible.
Something horrible, and that will probably be stalking you throughout as you try to make your way through. If you try to cross this river kind of area, you run into these black tentacles that come out of the water. There's this winding stairway down, and there's these imps who try to push you down the stairs. I pictured a couple of Minotaurs, Hern and Aghern, which is like one big Minotaur and one little Minotaur. They're kind of based off Greek, like Ajax and Little Ajax, if you've ever read like the Battle of Troy and all that. So you get one big Minotaur and one little Minotaur, and the little Minotaur is like a chip on his shoulder, and he wants to get you.
And the big Minotaur is all about friendship.
Yeah, he's sort of like, well, maybe we should talk to them. It's like, no,
we all get along.
like big dogs and little dogs.
Yeah,
The little dogs are vicious.
Yeah. So, well, except for my little dog.
Oh yeah,
He's like a
Your
cat.
little dog's cute.
So anyway, you eventually make your way down to the skull, who is Malchris the Sage, actually, who you're looking for. So the skull gives you these choices of things you can pick. He's like, he'll give you one choice. Again, another must be a game theme. But in the picture, there's like incense, there's a potion, there's a desiccated arm, and there's a little hilt of a sword in the background, I think, too.
I think so, too.
So he'll allow you to pick one. Now, if you try to pick more than one, they'll just turn to ash or whatever. So then you get so then each of these, I'd have to think about it a little bit, but like if you take the incense, maybe it does cure the disease, but it puts Brogan Broadblade to sleep.
Oh.
So then it's like, our guildmaster is now asleep. That's not good. The potion is actually the bad thing. It'll advance it even worse. The desiccated arm will actually absorb it into it and take it away. and the sword is basically the skull will laugh at you and say, amputate your friend's arm or something. Something terrible. It's like,
the arm there is the last guy from the group that took the sword. Like,
exactly. Yeah. It's like, I guess good choice. It's the most direct way. That's kind of awful. I don't know if I would use all of those, but the general idea is to give them choices, but they're not all just yes or no. There's a little twist to each one that can get your story, give your story a different little twist. And then in the end, I think that's pretty much it. And then in the end, I do a lot in games. Oftentimes I do what I call like cutscenes, where it's something that's just completely outside of what the players. So the players get whatever cure they get for Broken Broadblade, and they come back and kind of succeed or semi-succeed or succeed, whatever happens. And then it would be the cut scene to the wizard with the eyes, and he would just kind of be watching it and saying like, interesting, I see how they work now how do I pull them apart, and give them sort of an ending scene. And then the players will be, who is that? And they'll be like, that's probably nothing.
Bro, it's fine.
And they're hooked.
Don't worry
Pay no
about
attention
it.
to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah,
And
don't
that's
worry
why
about
one
it.
shots rarely stay one shots.
Yeah.
It's true. Maybe that's what we can talk about a bit. Like, are one shots inevitably going to not be a one shot? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you get a group of friends together, hey, let's do a one shot, and then everybody has a good time inevitably. And they're like, we should do this again. I want to play this character again. And then it's not a one shot anymore, right? Have we all run into that situation?
I usually run one shots at conventions, and so they're people that you sometimes like you, Jeremy, like I'll see you again, but other times they're people who they're just there for that one adventure. So
yeah, I have. We're not going to get into this, but I have had people sort of follow me home from conventions, like not creepy, like to my door, but it's like, hey, we had a good time playing here. Hey, we happen to live not far from each other. We should get together and do this again sometime. And before you know it, as I said, like even a one shot that should be just contained turns into something else. Jazzy, was your one shot like over and done? I know you said it took a couple sessions. Or are they all like, no, you're in the chair now, Jazzy. Keep DMing.
So the first one shot I did was actually a 6-part adventure called In Volo's Wake that we actually, as a 5-person podcast, all 5 of us took one piece of it. And then our primary DM did 2 pieces because the one with 30 years of experience. And this most recent one we knew was going to be like a 6 adventure, 2-arc thing. So I don't know as I've actually run specifically a one shot yet, but
okay. So for that short, but it's not maybe a one shot, but it's sort of contained. It's going to be a short here to here. Like, do you find at the end you're like, oh, I have an idea that like this could go on that way?
Oh, 100%. The last arc of this 2-piece Candlekeep campaign I ran, I wanted to bring it into a whole nother setting, and I was kind of bummed out that I couldn't, and the whole group is anxious to continue to play those characters, so it's kind of up in the air as to whether we're going to keep going on it or not, because we have an opening to go somewhere with it, and everybody really loves the characters they made. So it may continue. We don't know yet.
It'll happen. Hampod over in our chat says, I've never once said I want to play a one-shot character more than once, not even one time. I think this is dripping with sarcasm, though. If this is Rick, I think this is dripping with sarcasm.
That is right.
I
Yeah.
had one character I did for a one shot that I would never play again, but it was really fun. We did an 80s themed one shot, and I did a Care Bear cleric
Oh my
that I
gosh.
called a Claire Bear.
Yes, yes. Why would you not want to play that again?
And while it was super fun, it was really tiring to keep up the voice. So
Fair.
I was gonna say if you're playing a character in a one shot with a really weird voice or something, sometimes you're happy for it just to be one shot because you don't want to do that to yourself
Yes.
every week.
it was based off of Funshine Bear, and it was the power of power.
That's
So-
awesome.
Yeah.
Shoot
that was
guiding
enough.
bolts from your belly?
Yep.
I'm there.
Yep.
I'm there. Rich, have you been involved in a one shot that sort of became something more than a one shot?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Many. Yeah, I would say most of the time, when I was working at Wizards, actually, it was pretty common. We would have artists visiting, so we were doing a concept push for a new set or a new book or something. So it'd be artists coming in and visiting. So they'd inevitably want to play D&D,
Of
and
course.
I would get maybe a day's notice, sometimes a few hours notice. It'd be like, we're coming over tonight and you're going to run D&D for us. And it'd be like, okay. And it would be like a one shot. So, but to me, it's like, if you do a good one shot, they'll want more.
Yeah.
But even if it ends at that one shot, people tend to keep making stories for it.
Yeah.
They'll make up their own. They'll be like, oh, this is what maybe would have happened next. Or,
So, maybe if we were to give a DM tip tonight, it's like, if you're going to do a one shot, I mean, do a good job, but don't do too good a good job. Like, there has to be
Kill them
something
all
that
at the end.
Kill them. I was gonna say if they're all
Has
dead.
to end in a
that's the end.
TPK.
Yeah. Ryan from Canadian Dice in chat says he would really like to play Busta Chimes. He had a bard in our Tomb of Horrors one shot named Busta Chimes. And yes, I would like to see more Busta Chimes, I have to admit. That would be good. Busta Chimes. A bard rapper, for sure.
That sounds fun.
I like Claire Bear.
I do like Claire Bear. Yes.
too.
You might be onto something there. Is there a bear race?
There's the werebears.
Yeah.
Bear bear?
Yeah,
You
I
could
don't
just
know.
reskin something.
I think I
Stuart
just
mentioned
did like a
reskinning.
humanoid.
I love reskinning stuff.
Yeah.
Like you don't necessarily is that out there? No, but this is out there, and we can just say this is that. Like, yeah, I love
We
that.
had some really fun options. I think we had like a Ninja Turtle as like a monk.
Yes.
So we had some really fun like ideas in that one shot. It was super fun.
Yeah, I think one shots are sort of like, people sometimes get really creative in one shots, like we mentioned, the voices and things like that, because I think there's a safety in thinking like, oh, I won't have to keep doing this. Like, I don't have to keep this energy level up.
That's why I use voice mod.
those gravelly. I'm gonna talk like this. You don't want to talk like that for 3 hours every week, or you're gonna wreck yourself.
No, unless you're like Sam Riegel, who did the Veth/not voice for 2
Yes.
years.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
There's always NPCs that you're happy for them to show up in the adventure, but you're also, you don't want them to be your PC where you have to do it that much. It's
in Aphi's campaign, I made a character and I tried on French Canadian, like French Canadian trucker, beaver trapper, French Canadian, and it's horrible. I apologize to all my fellow French Canadians, francophones, and now we're well into that campaign, and I'm still talking like a French Canadian every month.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
next episode is 30 episodes. So
Someone's probably been offended in that time.
It was Chris Perkins in a live game, I think, that gave the drow a French accent.
And my
So-
character is half drow, and I was like, Chris Perkins did drow French.
He-
Okay, but what if we turn this? What if we turn this and I make him French Canadian and talk about Putin and
Then yes.
now
going to have some
Vallaki in
spider
Barovia
Putin.
is the home of Putin. So
yeah, I made him from Vallaki and Barovia, and now I tell everyone that if you go to Vallaki, you can get the best Putin in all of Barovia. Yes, it's horrible. It's horrible. Anyways, thank you, guests. Thank you, everybody who's come out and checked us out tonight. If you would like to be on Prep or Die, all you have to do is email us. I know that's old school, but listen to the name. oldmenrollingdice@gmail.com. You can email us and we will get you on the show. The alternative would be to jump over onto Old Men Rolling Dice or the Voctair's Instagram and shoot Aphi or I a message and say, hey, I want to be on that thing. That looks like a lot of fun. Or, you can come tell us that it was not a lot of fun, but, we're going to probably block you.
And then go cry.
Someone has suggested Bugbear for Claire Bear.
Oh,
Use
that
the
would be
Bugbear
fun.
Race for Claire Bear.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Well,
That's it.
yeah.
Well,
Where koala?
thank you, everyone. Aphi, thank you again for being here and doing
Thank
all
you
of
for
our
having me.
technical work and being a part of the Old Men Rolling Dice podcast. Not a
There it
twosome,
is.
but a threesome. I said it. There.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Very
Very
nice.
nice. If our guests can stick around in Zoom for just a second, we're going to say goodbye to everybody in chat, and we'll see you in 2 weeks for more Prep or Die.
Bye.
All right.